Today is the 27th of May, and this is our third to last call in the what are we doing? The wow, the Wisdom on Wheels. And so today we're going to do about money, making money on the road. And in case you're not yet in the Wisdom on Wheels, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just look right down below in the description and you'll see a link so you can join us. It's free. All right. So what I want to do today is really be very transparent and break down all of the things that I have done over the last like 15 years to make money with my online business. I have fully supported myself with an online business over the last 15 years, and I've made most every year I've made over $100,000, sometimes like over $200,000. So it's been a good income, and I am dramatically changing my model. So I'm going to tell you what I have done and also what I'm going to do and why I'm changing it as I describe this. So I thought that there were 8 ways that I was making money in my online business. Turns out there's 9. So the first one is, well, let me just read all of them real quick, and then I'll go into each one in more depth. So there's a lot of them, these are like online courses, but there's live online courses where I teach the topic live. Then there's what is called a hybrid online course. A hybrid online course is where there's both live teaching or live calls and recorded content. That's a hybrid. And then there's digital products or recorded courses, which are totally recorded, totally digital. Then there are membership programs where people pay and attend month after month until they don't want to anymore. Those are usually low cost. Then there are masterminds, which are kind of like on the opposite end, like a high cost of a monthly program. Then one-on-one coaching. Then affiliate income, where I get paid for mentioning or recommending or linking to somebody else's product. Then there are products that I'm given to review. That's not actually income, but if it's something that I wanted and would have paid for, I consider it income. And then there's AdSense, which pays you to advertise on like a YouTube video or like what Kristen did on a website. Okay, let's get into this in more detail now. So we're going to go back to live online courses. So in the last 12 months, I have offered 2 live online courses. One of them is called Shadow Dancing, where I teach shadow integration stuff. And that course, I've actually taught that twice. Once was in 2020, and the other one was just last year in 2024. And I made about $15,000 from that course both times. Then I taught a course called the Profitable Summit System, and I made about $2,600. And that was a live course, had about 15 people in it. And that was $133 a month for 6 months is what I charged for that. Okay, so live online courses, the advantage is they can be fun and engaging. You learn the content live with other people. The downside is I have to really be on to be able to teach it. And the other downside is the recording is not that great. Like, people don't necessarily want to watch a recording of me teaching somebody else how to do something. And, I always like to engage my group, engage people. And so that's wonderful for the people who are attending live, but is not necessarily very wonderful for people who are watching watching the recording of it. Okay. So then the next one is digital products. Oh, but I forgot the hybrid. So now hybrid online courses. So that's been my main thing. So I have taught people how to create online courses for a decade. And when I first taught this, I had a course that I called Alchemy, because I've always put a combination of business and also inner work into my courses, because I find that business is scary, to take action and get yourself out there. And so it's really good to have inner work processes, process that help dispel fear and increase courage right along with it. And so I had a course called Alchemy, then I had a course called the Online Course Creation System, and then finally I had a course called Wisdom to Wealth. And overall with those courses, and I forgot to add in Alchemy, so this is just the 2 courses, I made $279,922 teaching that over the last like 5 years. So that was my main source of income, teaching people how to create online courses. And, so almost probably $300,000 through just that course. And before that, I had a course, and these were also hybrid, where again, I'm recording content, but I'm also teaching live. This one was called, I call it HIPS, or the High Impact Program System. And this was teaching people how to create really kind of like a one-on-one coaching program, but what I call a high impact program. And I made $108,000 off of that course. So those were so hybrid courses have been like my bread and butter. They've been my main thing. And I'm going to, so next is digital products. And so one of the digital products I want to mention is this book that I wrote. It's called Binge-Worthy. Subtitle is How to Make Addictive Online Courses That Get Your Students Engaging, Succeeding, and Raving About You. So my deal was how to get your students engaged, how to create a community online. And I took this from my experience in the classroom, creating engagement in a classroom through what they call cooperative learning, and I took it online. So having hybrid online courses and live online courses was a natural thing for me because my deal was to create engagement. So I sold this book and I sold it online. I have a print of it, but I've never sold a hard copy of it to anybody. Anybody who bought it bought a digital version, like a giant PDF, and I sold it online for $4.99, so $5. And I sold about 1,000 copies. So I made about $5,000 from my book. And then I sold 4 other courses that they could buy when they bought the book. You know how when you're buying something and they'll have something else that you can check and add it to your order, that's called an order bump. And then they take you to another page and you get an offer of some other thing. So that's what I did. And I had these 4 courses. So I made, I made about $55,000 through my book and all the courses that went with it, selling all of that. So I'm going to come back around to this because it's really important in my evolution and in my identity as a businesswoman. This whole topic of binge-worthy and how I'm changing my business model. But I want to finish and then we'll come back around to that. So then the next thing is membership programs. Now, typical membership programs cost somewhere between like $7 a month up to $97 or $197 a month. Oftentimes they're less than $100 a month, and students pay monthly. So I had this membership program. It was called the Freedom Club. I charged $77 a month, and I made about $33,000 off of that. But the problem with it was I was always over delivering. So like, I was teaching them something every week. We had a book club. We had this, we had that, we had all of this stuff. And so I could never relax because I always had to think, what am I going to teach in the Freedom Club this month? And even though $33,000 feels like a lot of money, it wasn't that much money each month. It definitely wasn't enough to support me. And so I ended it after like, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years. Then masterminds. So I've done a couple of high ticket masterminds ranging anywhere from $6,000 per person to $12,000 per person. There are typical masterminds might be $12,000 a year, $20,000 a year, $30,000 a year. They're often for business owners to meet and be with other business owners and learn new skills. And so through the one that I had called Legacy, I had that for a few years. I made $80,000 from that. And so with hybrid online courses, with the hybrid online courses that I was teaching, $2,000 per person, and the masterminds like $8,000 or $10,000 a year, I just got to the point where I felt I didn't feel good. I just didn't feel congruent. I didn't feel good about charging so much money, which felt like a lot of money. And I knew that a lot of my students were like going in debt, you know, paying on a credit card or whatever to join the program. And many of them, maybe even most of them, weren't taking the action to get the results that the program was teaching. And so I felt, I just didn't feel happy. I just didn't feel like it was a massive win-win. You know, I knew that I was making good money, but I didn't know that they were making good money. And I know that it wasn't that they were complaining. You know, they liked the courses, but I just wanted, if my students aren't going to get the results, I'd rather that they only paid $100 or two, you know, instead of a couple $1,000. And so this began to be hard for me to feel good about. And so then there was one-on-one coaching, and I don't do much one-on-one coaching. I haven't done much of it over the years, but when I do, it's anywhere between $1,000 and like $10,000 for a program. And I'm better as a group coach. I'm better as a teacher of a group than I am one-on-one. It's just, you know, the way I'm built. Okay, affiliate income. So affiliate income is where you mention a product, somebody buys it, and you get a commission. So right now, I'm getting affiliate commissions from two organizations. One of them is Amazon. Amazon is really piddly. Like they pay something like 2%. So in April, I got a check, not a check, you know, they give you a credit in your Amazon account, $6.91. In May, I got $16.28. Woohoo. So that's Amazon. And, you know, this is from YouTube videos and, you know, wherever I put links. And then the other one is this online platform called Kajabi. Is anybody familiar with Kajabi? Have you heard of it? Anybody? Okay. So Kajabi is so when people offer online courses, you have to put it somewhere online. And you can put it for free in like a Facebook group or Google Drive or Dropbox or Vimeo. There's lots of places where you can sit it for free, or you can pay a monthly fee for a platform where it looks good, you know, where it's all organized and it looks beautiful and students click through it and all that. And so Kajabi is the platform that I've used for many years. And I like it because I can have my website there. I can have my online courses. I can have my email list. I can do all the things that I want to do, you know, right there on that one platform. And so I've been an affiliate of Kajabi's for like, I think a decade. And in April, I got a check for $324.90 from Kajabi. And yesterday, I got a check for $1,469.70. And so Kajabi is a great affiliate program. You know, Amazon is like, okay, I got $16. I'll buy a mug, you know, or something like that. But the income that I get from Kajabi is significant. And this is a platform that I use, I love, I recommend. And if people sign up under my affiliate link, they don't pay anything more, but I give them a coaching call with either me or my assistant. So it's, you know, it's beneficial for people to do that. So this is a great one. And then the products for review. So I've gotten quite a few emails since my YouTube channel, you know, grew to a few thousand subscribers. And I have been offered a lot of products. One of them, the power station that I got, I like a lot. And then the Set Power fridge, they wanted to give me a really big one. I didn't want another big one. So I said I would do it if you'd give me a small one. And they were happy to do that. But so I got that. I've also been offered a scooter, which would be fun, but I don't have room to carry a scooter in my element. And then I just have one more thing to deal with, right, of all my possessions. So I'm not having the scooter. But I did get an email last week offering me a drone, which could be really cool if it's if it takes good quality, you know, video. So I'm going to jump ahead to something else, but that's that for products. And that's because of YouTube. That's because of the YouTube channel. Then there's the YouTube AdSense. So most people on YouTube, most videos on YouTube have ads that come at the very beginning and maybe a couple places in the middle, you know this, and at the end. And the whoever it is that they call it the creator, you get paid when they have these ads on there. Now, they started putting ads on my videos months before they ever started paying me, which I feel like is kind of unethical, but they're running the shots. And after all, YouTube is a free platform to use. But the first month that I got paid, which was in March, I got a check for $1,076.73. And then last month, in April, I got a check for $973.95. So I'm very pleased with that. That seems like pretty darn good, for a new YouTube channel. I started it in November, and so that's good. Now, the videos from this virtual meetup are not doing nearly as well as the other videos that I've shot, like van tours and my own stories and that. So clearly people aren't as interested in watching us talk on YouTube, or on Zoom as they are, a regular, like out in the world kind of video, which is okay with me, because once I'm finished with this week, I'll get back to making some videos. Okay. Now, in the future, there are two things that I'm wanting to add, hoping to add to my income stream that I don't currently have. And one of them is sponsorships. So I actually want to reply to whoever it was that offered me that drone and say, hey, I'm interested in the drone, but I'd like to discuss a sponsorship deal. And because I'd like to use this drone in almost all of my videos and mention in the description, the name of the drone and that I use that drone. So I'd like to get paid. I'd like to get paid. I don't just want the drone. I want to get paid for every video. And I definitely want to get paid something for the review video. So this would be a new thing for me to see if I can negotiate a sponsorship deal. And I haven't got really a clue how to do it because I've never done that before. But I think it makes perfect sense, because what they're getting a lot of free advertising for sending you a $500 product that costs them, like, I don't know what, 200 or something like that. So there's that. And then the other thing is, so Meta is the name of the ad platform over Facebook. So when you run Facebook ads or Instagram ads, you're doing it through a company that they call Meta, M-E-T-A. And as you might remember, if you were here for Kristen's discussion on income, she gets paid $1 or $2 or whatever $1,000 a month from Meta for her Facebook pages, because she's producing content every day. And so I'm hoping that Meta will start paying me for my Facebook page. They haven't done it yet. I've applied for their program. It's a brand new program. It's in beta, and it is not transparent at all. Nobody really knows how much, like how many followers you need, or how much content you need, or how much engagement, or anything. It's just not, there's no clarity on it. So I have no control over it. I've applied for the program, but of course I didn't hear back. I don't know anything about it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to, well, let me just stop and ask you to share in the chat, like, just what is one takeaway so far from what I've said? Just share in the chat. What's one takeaway from what I've shared? That's very weird. The power just went off. And so I lost Zoom for a second here. I'm back on here using my phone's hotspot. So let's see. I ask you to share a takeaway so far. And Catherine says the number of ways to make money. Danny says, plus you care about what you put out there and how well it serves others. Those are the only two comments I see. So if there were other comments, they got erased while I was gone. So sorry about that. If you could pop your comment in again, if you put one, that would be great. So let me ask another question. Just put a $ if you are interested in, I'm assuming that because you're live on this call, you are interested, but just pop a $ in if you are interested in other ways of making money online. And then Hope says, I didn't know there were so many ways to make money virtually. Catherine says, how did you spell the platform you use for classes? I'll put that in there. It's called Kajabi. And there's a lot of $. Okay, great. Now, these and the ways that I make money online, really, it's just a fraction of the number of possible ways. I make money through what are known as information products. I am using my knowledge, my wisdom, my expertise to create digital products, online courses, coaching groups, all of that. Okay, so I want to go back to something. So like I showed you, I wrote this book and my deal is creating online community. So this is one of the reasons why I like the hybrid model. However, a couple things. One, I don't want to charge as much as I've charged before. I don't want $2,000 programs. I want my courses to be much more accessible. Like maybe the highest price program would be $200 or $300. I want to create low cost programs, still high quality, but low cost. Secondly, I want to, as you know, live as a nomad. I want to be out on the road. And if I'm spending most of my time, all of my time out in nature or driving, out in the world, it makes it more challenging to be on a calendar that says I have to be on teaching this call at this time on Monday and this call on Tuesday, and I have to be doing all these things, I have a lot of stuff on my calendar. And so that was challenging. When I did my trip to Florida, I always had it on my mind. I had to be places. I had to have a good place to be, quiet, all the internet, all that stuff. And it was challenging. So I want to do less of me always being online. I'm okay with one call, leading one call a week. That's okay. So what this means is that I want to offer more digital courses, concrete topics that I teach, and you learn, the students learn how to do, and then lead group programs where I just help everybody who's in any of my courses to implement it. Also, the WOW Sisterhood is different. That's for us women who are, either living on the road or wanting to live on the road. But the other area is my money-making area is business. How do you create online courses? How do you create an online business? And so for a while, it was hard for me to make the decision that I didn't want to teach these hybrid courses anymore because it was my identity. I wrote this book. It's like, this is what I do. This is who I believe I am. So this was a challenging thing. But finally, really just over the last few weeks, it's all sort of settled in because I feel so much better at making products that can be less expensive and can be really easy for people to say yes to without having to go into debt and use credit cards and all of that, but very practical things that you can use and implement immediately. And so this is where I am. This is where I'm going back to, I'm not going to be offering the Wisdom to Wealth that I made, almost $300,000 on over the last 5 years or so, I'm not going to be offering that anymore. And I have students in it through June. So at the end of June, they're done. I'm done with that course. So what's happened is because I am winding down on my higher price courses, my income has been going down dramatically. It has been somewhat replaced by YouTube, a little bit of YouTube. You know, I made a little bit of money with the inner circle. The inner circle wasn't really designed to be a big money maker, but so I am highly motivated to implement my new model, you know, of lower cost courses and these, you know, like a coaching group and the Wow Sisterhood, because I did not do a good job at all of financial planning in my life. I have a couple $1,000s a month Social Security, which I'm very grateful for, a little bit of retirement income coming from Arizona, teaching in Arizona. But I just, I kept living for the moment. You know, I would make money and I would spend money, and I didn't save for retirement. I don't have a big nest egg or anything like that. And so for me, a lot of my creativity is fueled by necessity. And I don't have a problem with that. I'm not complaining about that, because I actually really enjoy the incentive to be creative and to create these online courses and teach them. I love doing it. So great. So let me ask you, any questions you have, put them in the chat. Robin has a question. I'm going to answer that now. But you know, what comes up for you? What kind of questions do you have? Just pop that in the chat. So Robin says, what is your process for attracting students? So this is the key question. It's a really smart question to ask. And this has changed over the years. So in my early years, I hosted telesummits to attract people and grow a list. And a telesummit is like this Wow virtual event is like a long telesummit, because most of the speakers have come and have, you know, invited their audience to come and watch. But I have done several telesummits over the years. I had a YouTube channel way back in 2010. I had my first YouTube channel, and I grew my list through that and through email. I grew an email list through my YouTube channel at that time. And then between like 2015 and 2020, I had a partner who had an email list of about 30,000 people. And we partnered and we taught the online course creation system together. And so a lot of my students they came from him. Okay, I've got to go back to, now my battery is low on my phone, but the power is back on. So let's go back. Okay. So a lot of my students were attracted from him. And then since then, I ran Facebook ads to my book, and I grew my list through the Facebook ads. And right now I have my Facebook page. It's called the Van Life for Mature Women. And I've got about 4,800 people following me on that. And that grows every day, grows by about 100 people. And that I'm running Facebook ads to, but I'm just spending like $5 a day. So very low cost Facebook ads to grow the engagement there. So that was a long answer, Robin, and many different methods. But from now going forward, I'm going to use the Facebook ads and also my YouTube channel, because some people, after they watch the video, will look at the description under the video and see something that they'll, you know, want to learn more about and like get on my email list. And Sylvia says she's in the same boat with retirement. Yes. And yeah, Barb was a teacher and would love to continue that. Yeah, I think it's really fun. Peggy says, how do we evaluate the idea we have? Okay, this is like, I couldn't have paid you to ask this question, Peggy, because I have just today, I have finished a course, which is going to be one of the first ones. It will be the first business course that I will offer. And it is called Unlock Your Profitable Passion. And the whole purpose of this course is to identify a whole bunch of ideas of things that you could teach. And then I have a methodology that I created called the 6Ps profitability test. And so what you do is you run each of your ideas through the 6Ps profitability test to determine whether it could be something that could make money. And so that's the whole purpose of that course. And I'm not ready to offer that today because I'm just getting all set up with, all of these courses, but maybe by Thursday when we're done, our last day, I'll have that ready to offer. But it's very important to evaluate your idea. And I have 2 different methods in that course of how you can evaluate your idea. Yeah, you're welcome, Robin. Thank you, Denise. She said, great title. Okay, so Karen says, I'm not a teacher. What other ways can I make money online? Well, okay, I would ask the question, how much money do you need to make per month? Because how much money you need to make is going to definitely impact what you would want to do. But I also have to say, I am not an expert in all the other ways to make money, the non-teaching ways to make money. And so, I might be able to suggest something like, a lot of people are selling stuff on Etsy. There's affiliate marketing, although, you're not going to make a living off of Amazon affiliate marketing, but there's, other programs that might be much more of a significant income. Okay. All right, so there's a couple people that lost everything at some point, 2011 or 2017, and have to work. So I totally understand that. Personally, I want to set something up so that I can work. I want to set up various things so I can work less and less and still make enough money to support myself. Hopefully, I will stay vigorous and vital and, with my brain intact until I, collapse on the trail at 98. But, it's impossible to predict what life has in store for us. Oh yeah, a lot of people make forms or like journals or, there's a lot of things that people sell online. Sponsorships, if you have an interesting channel, absolutely. Yeah, Catherine says she wasn't a teacher, but thinks that everyone has something they could teach. This is what I believe. I believe that I've said this so many times, things that others will pay to learn. And so that's what my Unlock Your Profitable Passion course is about, is like discovering what it is that other people would pay to learn. I don't think you necessarily have to be a teacher to be an effective teacher. Like, you don't have to have experience teaching to be an effective teacher. You just have to be able to talk in a organized way. Yeah, so Karen is only looking to make a couple thousand a month. Well, and makes off-grid lighting. That's cool. So what are ways that she could get her products to the masses? Well, a lot of people get their products to the masses through YouTube videos. This could possibly be a good topic for a Facebook page, because a page is, so let me just give you a little bit of Facebook basics. So everybody on Facebook, every human on Facebook has to have what they call a personal profile. This is like your personal identity. And this is the place that I like to avoid, because friends and family are on there and they're not interested in my business, most of them. And so I don't really go on there. Then there's groups. Groups can either be public or private. And a group is something that someone chooses to be in. So when people talk in a group, that can be private. Although, of course, there's all kinds of ethical issues around Facebook, around, getting people's private information. But aside from that, and then there are pages. Now, a page, they used to call a page a business page. So a page is something that is separate from your personal profile, and it's separate from groups. And you can have as many pages as you want, and they are free to create. And people find those pages through they search in the social media platform. They search on Facebook for a topic, and your page can come up. And also, people find my page because I advertise. I spend $5 a day advertising. I was spending at the beginning of WOW, and during the week before WOW started, I was spending more like $10 or $15 a day. So, because I was wanting to attract more people. So if you had a Facebook page that was about lighting or about off-grid living or about, a topic that off-grid people you would attract off-grid people, you could definitely sell your lighting products on that. So that's a possibility, because going back to Robin's original question, you've got to attract buyers. You have to attract an audience. And so that's why I created my Facebook page, because now I have 5,000 people on there, and they're all, the name of the page is Van Life for Mature Women. So hopefully everybody on that page is a mature woman who's interested in van life. So they're all, potentially interested in the things that I would have to sell. There are tons of ways to make money. I actually have a document called 50 Ways. What's it called? It's called the Nomad's Money Map. 50 Ways to Fund Your Freedom. I'll have to put that. Let me see if I can grab that real quick. Let me see if I can find that for you. I'll give you the link to it.